Welcome to Keentel Engineering. Reliability is the one thing the energy sector cannot compromise on. Every kilowatt delivered, every operating decision made, every protection scheme designed, all of it traces back to a single mandatory framework: NERC Operations and Planning Standard 693. In this video, we are covering how O&P 693 compliance protects the bulk electric system, what expert compliance support actually looks like, and why engineering-led risk assessment is the foundation of a truly resilient grid. Reliability is the single constant the energy sector cannot compromise on, and O&P 693 standards are how that reliability is engineered, verified, and sustained. Power companies play a direct role in maintaining grid stability. Compliance with O&P 693 keeps the bulk electric system resilient under daily operating stress, not just during emergencies, but every single day. This requires specialized engineering expertise. Generic compliance checklists are not enough. The standards demand teams built specifically to support the resilience and reliability of the energy grid. And the sector itself is constantly evolving. More renewables, more distributed assets, more operational complexity. Compliance frameworks have to evolve right alongside it to keep pace. Comprehensive NERC compliance support follows 4 stages, from initial registration through ongoing assessment. Initial registration, entity classification, and NERC registration setup done correctly from day one. Getting this step wrong creates downstream compliance gaps that are far more costly to fix later. Standards assessment, a comprehensive review of which O&P 693 standards apply to your specific entity type. Not every requirement applies to every organization, and getting that scope right matters. Program implementation, building the actual policies, procedures, and controls needed to satisfy every applicable requirement. And ongoing assessments, continuous monitoring and reassessment that keeps your compliance program current as your operations and the regulatory landscape both change. Understanding the risks associated with the energy grid is fundamental to staying compliant. Thorough engineering risk assessments identify potential vulnerabilities and put mitigation strategies in place before they become incidents. This proactive approach builds a grid capable of withstanding operational, environmental, and cyber-physical challenges alike. The risk assessment process follows 4 steps. Identify vulnerabilities, a systematic review of system components, processes, and controls to surface weak points. Assess impact and likelihood. Engineering analysis of each vulnerability's potential consequence and probability of occurrence. Implement mitigation strategies, targeted engineering, and procedural fixes designed for the specific risk profile identified. And validate and monitor, confirm the fix holds, then establish ongoing monitoring to catch new risks early before they escalate. Power companies operate in a dynamic environment that demands operational excellence, and NERC compliance services should go far beyond simple adherence. Beyond adherence, the goal is not checking compliance boxes. It is building operational practices that make reliability a natural outcome of how an organization runs day to day. Best practice guidance, hands-on guidance across operations, planning, and protection, translated into practical, everyday procedures your teams can actually follow. Enhanced efficiency, streamlined compliance processes reduce administrative burden, freeing engineering and operations teams to focus on core grid work instead of paperwork. Sustained performance, a long-term partnership model, ensures operational excellence is maintained as your organization and the regulatory landscape continue to evolve. Navigating the intricacies of NERC registration can be daunting, but the process breaks down into 4 manageable stages. Entity evaluation, determine your registration category, whether that is generator owner, generator operator, transmission owner, transmission operator, distribution provider, load-serving entity, or another classification entirely. Documentation package, assemble the full technical and corporate documentation NERC requires for registration. Submission and coordination. Manage submission timing and direct coordination with NERC and your regional entity throughout the process. And post-registration support. Ongoing guidance to ensure newly registered entities meet every requirement from day one, not just at the point of registration. 6 things define the Keentel engineering advantage. Specialized expertise, a provider purpose-built for grid resilience, not a generalist compliance shop. End-to-end support, coverage across the full compliance lifecycle from initial registration through ongoing assessments. An engineering-led approach, compliance grounded in real engineering risk assessment, not just paperwork and checklists. Tailored to electric companies, services built around the unique operational needs of power companies, not generic templates. Proactive risk mitigation, vulnerabilities addressed before they become incidents or audit findings. And a resilient energy future, helping the sector meet regulatory obligations while building lasting grid strength. These services are built for every type of electric company across the energy sector: generator owners, generator operators, transmission owners, transmission operators, distribution providers, load-serving entities, balancing authorities, and reliability coordinators. In today's society, the reliability of the power grid is essential for the smooth functioning of daily life. Critical infrastructure, hospitals, water treatment facilities, and emergency services all depend on a reliable grid functioning without interruption. Economic continuity. Businesses and industry rely on consistent power to operate without disruption to production and operations. And everyday life, homes, schools, and communities depend on the grid working every single day without exception. At Keentel Engineering, our O&P 693 compliance services exist to protect that reliability, from registration and risk assessment to ongoing program support that keeps your organization audit-ready year after year. Grid reliability doesn't happen by accident, it's engineered. NERC O&P 693 compliance keeps power companies aligned with continent-wide reliability standards, from initial registration through ongoing assessments. At Keentel Engineering, we go beyond checkbox compliance. We conduct deep risk assessments, modernize protective relay schemes, and guide power companies toward true operational excellence. One client saw a 90% drop in false trips, saving over $250,000. Ready for a more resilient grid? Visit KeentelEngineering.com.